Welcome back. We're going to go in for a deep dive tonight. Welcome back to LanceScurvX, LanceScurvX.com, the Scurv podcast, where we want to do deep dives into whatever topic we're speaking about. And today, the title is he really in love with you, or does he only want access to your sweet cookies? Now, I couldn't put that title on the banner. You know how social media platforms such as this one may strike it down because of that. They're very sensitive. And we're not dealing with human beings anymore. We're dealing with AI. So they're very unforgiving. There's no human element there that can see the cultural differences and inferences and all of those little things that make a difference in how you speak. It's almost like when people say in the Black community, man, that was bad. It means good. But people may not understand that. And I think most do. But that's pretty much what it is. You have to be careful how you speak on YouTube and other social media platforms because of the way that things are so strict now. So me, who likes to go into deep dives on topics, it can be quite difficult. So there'll be a lot of things that I say that are between the lines. And when I said the sweet cookies, listen, ladies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And today, it's not a preachy type of topic, but I wanted to speak in depth on how we have so many men who may want to get with you in a deceptive way, but really he wants the sweet cookies. Now, on the banner, you see the sweet cookies. Now, we know we can go to the store if we want cookies and pick up any type of cookies that we want. Oreo cookies, chocolate chip, vanilla cream, cookies with sprinkles on it. But cookies in this particular case means intimacy, certain body parts. It's a shame how many men look at a woman like a junkyard. And what do I mean by that? When you go to the junkyard, you may have something that you need on your vehicle. So you go to the junkyard to get that particular part. You don't care about the whole corpse of a vehicle sitting there or almost, complete vehicle there. You want that one part. And I will say most ladies who are listening to this understand what I mean and most men don't understand this, that in the course of a day, the amount of men who try to get your attention, who try to talk to you, and some may be sincere. I'm not throwing men under the bus because I'm a man, but I'm going to say most of them may not be sincere. They're not going to tell you just what they want. And it doesn't mean they just want sex. They might be lonely and want somebody to talk to. I understand that. So I'm not going to throw them under the bus like that. But for the most part, it's impulsive and they may see you looking good. Oh man, I have to talk to her. So they're going to maybe try to act as though they're forthright and upright in their approach to you. Hence the banner that you see in front of you. There's one guy, tatted up. You don't know really what he's doing with his life. He's got a gold chain around his neck, the one on the left side, kneeling down. He's flashing money. Like he thinks that's the key to get to you. And to get to you means probably just he wants something of those cookies of yours. And then you have the corporate guy with the roses. He's playing the classy role. Again, any one of these manifestations of males, Black males or males in general, for those who may not be in the melanated community, these principles, they're there for you also. But I'm speaking about it how it's done our way. You have the law enforcement officer who pretty much feels that because when you see that uniform, you know that pretty much his bloodstream should be clean. I said should be clean. He's got a good job and he's got to be reputable to a point with the background check. So those guys, they feel like I got the upper hand. Then you have the construction worker. You know he's working, he's making good money, but you just don't know. Then you have the guy who's going to try you anyway. He's not concerned that he doesn't have six figures. He may work at McDonald's and he's still going to try you because some men are like that. Not that they can't, Not that he couldn't be a good match. Maybe he has a great future. You don't know it. You have the janitor, right? You have the janitor next to him who could own several homes. I've known janitors to work, many years on a job and good paying and benefits, and many ladies overlook them, and they have a lot. It's not about about having a stability. Then you have the guy who's the guy with he's the pastor, the preacher, clergy, got the Bible in his hand, but he still sees those curves. He still sees those beautiful thighs. He still sees that very inviting cleavage. Even if he doesn't see it, men have x-ray vision. They pretty much can see what you think they can't see. Then you have the guy on his knees with an engagement ring. He's going to try to, entice you with the fact that, oh my God, he wants to be engaged to me. He wants to marry me. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he used that ring trick on 10 other women. Maybe we don't know. Again, I'm not trying to say men are dogs, but a lot of men have the dog in them. And a lot of men cannot resist what they see in front of us. This is why I put this young lady in some red high heel, eyes out. And most of the time, you're not walking around like that. But I had to make it extreme so that it's eye catching so you can get the point, right? So, again, is he really in love with you? Or does he only want access to your sweet cookies? Right? And I forgot to say the police officer has a keychain that has no keys on it, but it's a Mercedes-Benz logo on it. So men come at you all different types of ways, sometimes the same way, sometimes with different lines, gimmicks, just to get your attention. And after a while, maybe when you were younger, maybe you fell for something. Maybe you fell for it. Maybe you fell in love with one of these guys. It took time to get to you, but as soon as they got what they wanted, they're gone. And hopefully that never happened to you. But then again, many of you who are listening, I'm not asking you to raise your hand and say it happened to you, but pretty much something has happened to you growing up where it wasn't maybe a violent interaction or violation, but somebody deceived you. There's a guy you were talking to on the phone or texting back and forth, and it seemed promising, but then you went to the shopping mall one day by yourself and you saw him up in somebody else's face in a romantic way. And you say, okay, I know what I'm dealing with. And that's what this particular episode is all about. And hopefully I can cover many areas that if you have a crack in your armor, it'll patch it up. But I have some bulleted points here that I jotted down for this and some notes and stuff. So I'm going to be speaking on them and adding in some personal experiences. Not that I'm a woman who's been approached by a man. This is not the I'm a man being approached by a gay man show, because I can talk about that, but that's not what this is today. But the first bulleted point that I wanted to speak about is attention does not always mean affection. And one of the most dangerous mistakes people make is assuming that attention automatically means care, concern, or genuine affection. In reality, attention is one of the easiest things in the world to fake because it costs very little to give when someone wants something from you. A person can call every day, send good morning text messages, stay on the phone for hours, shower you with compliments, and make you feel like the center of their universe while secretly viewing you as a goal rather than a human being. And this is the difference here, because you see, if you are a woman who may be lonely, or you're ready to have some companionship, or you might have gone through something, the loss of a family member, and you're grieving, and you may want a shoulder to cry on, or somebody to lean on, or some fresh energy to come around you. You may have your family or friends, the usual ones, but there's this new person that's coming around you. And it's so easy because I don't want to say you're needy, but you want. And it's like, wow, this person's giving me attention. It feels good. The darker reality is that some people understand human psychology very well. They know that most people are starving for attention, validation, and emotional connection. They know that if they become a constant presence in your life, You will begin to associate their attention with safety and affection. They understand that repeated exposure creates familiarity, and familiarity often creates trust. What makes this dangerous is that many women judge a man's feelings by the amount of effort he invests in the pursuit. But pursuit and attention are not the same thing. A man can invest tremendous effort into obtaining something he wants. The question is, what happens after he obtains it? The cookies. Does the attention remain? Does the respect remain? Does the communication remain? Or does the entire relationship suddenly lose energy once he feels he has achieved his objective? Women should learn to ask themselves a difficult question. If intimacy were completely removed from the equation, would this man still be investing the same amount of time, energy, and interest? The answer to that question often reveals more than 1,000 sweet words ever could. And I feel it has to be, you have to understand your state of mind at the time that you're being wined and dined, maybe by this man, maybe not, but the attention he's given to you. And men can be shapeshifters when it comes time to pursuing you and trying to push buttons. It's like you have a door lock that has a digital keypad, and that's you. And he's going to keep punching different numbered combinations in until he finds the exact combination to get to you, to open that door, to get inside. And yes, I mean, get inside. And the pursuit feels good, sisters. Getting inside feels good. But it's not just about the physical. Because men know when they gas you up and get inside, it's two different experiences. Let me tell you something. This is not off topic, it may be off point, but I want to throw this in. When you're making love, even if you're making lust on a lower level, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the future between you and this man that he spoke to you about? With every stroke, you're thinking about the beautiful house that he said that he wanted you both to have, the life, the cars, even if you're not filthy rich, but the stability, the children. He says things to you like, oh, could you imagine the children that we have that look like the both of us? Once a man, whether he's a good man or a deceptive man, once he gets to that point where you allow everything to go intimate and these things are in your head, it's a very powerful thing. And the trick is to be on guard, but not to cut everything off, because there are good people out there. But you gotta take your time ahead of time, because you could be romanced into a sorry state of affairs. Talk about a broken heart and shattered dreams. Because they'll keep on pushing those buttons, or they'll keep on taking out a key to try it in the lock. Well, that key didn't work. That key didn't work of telling her that I wanted to marry her. Well, let me try this other key. That key didn't work by trying to get close to her mother so that the mother can say good things about me so I can get to her. And it's really, and we're talking about the bad men most of the time in this particular segment. Let me just say, before there are brothers out here who say, man, you really threw us under the bus. And it's not like that with me. And I'm proven. I've been with my wife for 35 years and we have children and I never cheated on her. I'm not talking about you, brothers. I'm forever tipping my hat to you to say I appreciate you. And I thank you for doing the right thing. Even though sometimes in our younger years, we can do some pretty crazy things. But it feels so good But it doesn't feel good when you realize you didn't do your due diligence in investigating this man. Because if he really wants you, he will jump any hoop. He will walk any distance. He'll swim any ocean. If he truly values you like he says he does. And like we said earlier, would he still pursue you the same way if there was absolutely no intimacy involved, the way you said, like, hey, this is not happening. This is not happening until we are married. And we're not going to rush to get married because you're going to date me first. And I have to say this because I did this on an older video. And we've forgotten about this, right? We forgot about dating. Dating is no pressure. This is for the younger folks who don't understand. Dating is no pressure. We can go shopping together. We can go to the fast food restaurant together. We can take a walk in the park or along the side of a beach together. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean this Saturday we did this and next Saturday we have to go out again. No, you can call me. We're just trying each other out for size and sampling the energy. A woman can date 10 men because traditional dating did not involve sex. Let's just say it that way. When in the present day, we got the definition of dating messed up and mixed up. Oh, I used to date him. But if you really mean the four-letter word that starts with F, F-U-C-K, that is not dating. You jump the line past marriage. Now, I know in the modern day, we crossed the line earlier than we should, but if we held the standard traditionally and really did, there would be no broken hearts. I'll tell you that much. There would be no broken hearts. It's only when we jump to the head of that line and assume that we have it all together with the person that we're dealing with. Dating doesn't. D-A-T-E is not F-U-C-K. All right? I'm sorry to be so blunt, but that's what it is. Something completely different. After dating, there's courting. Courting means you're not dating anymore. You're not dating any other men. You are courting them because it's getting a little more focused. You love the qualities that they have. You like what you see because the whole thing with dating, courting, engagement is to get to marriage. But we ain't thinking about that these days. And whoa, you're looking for a broken heart or a trip to the health clinic with some STDs. Not that you can't catch that when you're married. But everything should be done in a perfect world. And we know this is not a perfect world, but everything should be done to go toward marriage. I mean, many years of my life, I jumped the line and got the cookies. But with me personally, I say basically, I'll tell you that that's what attracted me. I'm going to treat you in the past with respect, make you have fun, whatever, but I did not lie and say, oh, I love you just to get the cookies. And really and truly, there were so many cookies around, I wanted to have a good time. A lot of times I almost forgot to taste the cookies, all right? Because we're having such a good time. That was my first and foremost thing. If I dated you, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna have a good time, you're never gonna forget this night that we spent, or these couple of days that we spent, or these couple of weeks that we spent. You're gonna hear songs on the radio and it's gonna make you crack up because you're gonna associate that song with some joke I said or some experience we had together. Cookies are fine, but I love living life. And at this age, the same energy that you see me speak about different topics with, that's the way I was when I was younger. Friends of mine who were just about the cookies, they're like, hey man, you messing the game up. Well, man, you're gonna talk to that girl until the panties fall off. I said, that's not really the goal. I don't want to be around somebody boring. We're gonna have fun. Let's live. You're gonna give me the cookies if you want. I'm not gonna try for that. If it comes, it comes. And usually it wasn't too much of a problem for me. So it's a whole different mindset. But courting is exclusive now. Exclusivity now. It's not that you're married, but you're zeroing in because this particular man that you dated is special. and you bring him into your world a little more. You're courting, so he gets to meet your family. Doesn't mean you're engaged, but you're courting this man. It may go on for months or so. It should not be going on for 5 years. Let's put it that way. It should not be going on for 2 years before you move to the next stage of engagement. Now, see, in courting, you're finding out everything about him. You're meeting his family. He's meeting your family. They know him. So when you bring somebody in from dating to courting, it is a very serious thing because that's closer to marriage. So now the next thing is engagement. You're locked in because engagement means you plan on getting married. Okay? This is no thing where you see him at the mall with another woman and he's got his arm around her and he's smooching on her. No, that does not happen. If that happens during dating, oh well, he found somebody he wants to court. You don't get mad. You don't get mad. Look, you go into the shoe store to try on different shoes, don't you? You try on 10 shoes, you might walk out with 2 pairs. It doesn't mean the other 8 shoes are cheating on you. You just tried them on. You dated those shoes. I'm just saying that to make the point clear. So once you're engaged, you're working toward the marriage for sure now. This is the person you want to marry and you're making plans for marriage. I'm just clarifying all of this because for the younger folks, lots of times, and some of us older folks, we have the line blurred and we don't understand, right? So I had to put that out there for this segment. I can refer you to the video before or wherever it is. It's buried under a whole lot. Even though this channel is 2 years old in a few months, there's a lot of videos out there that I have now, But here's another point. The difference between a man who wants you and a man who values you. Do you know the difference, sister? There's a massive difference between wanting a woman and valuing a woman. Yet many people confuse the two because they can look similar in the beginning. A man who wants a woman can appear obsessed with her. I want you to listen to this. He can think about her constantly, pursue her aggressively, and seem completely captivated by her presence. But wanting someone and valuing someone are two entirely different realities. A man who simply wants a woman often focuses on what she provides. And you see them cookies on the floor, right? He wants the excitement she brings. He wants the attention she gives. He wants the validation she offers. He wants the physical attraction he feels. In many cases, he's focused on consumption rather than contribution. His interest is centered on what he can take from the situation. A man who values a woman sees her as a complete human being, not body parts. He respects her boundaries even when they inconvenience him. He cares about her emotional well-being even when it slows down his desires. He wants to protect her trust rather than exploit it. He understands that access to someone's body should never come through deception. It should never come through deception. The darker side of this conversation is that some men become extremely skilled at pretending to value a woman because they know women are looking for signs of seriousness. They know how to ask thoughtful questions. They know how to discuss the future. They know how to perform commitment. Perform commitment doesn't mean real commitment. Actors and actresses can get in the screen, get in front of the camera and perform and make you think they're real, and you get caught up in the movie and the plot and what's going to happen next and what's going to happen at the end because it's so real and riveting. And now you're like, oh man, I can't wait to the end of this movie. But you know that it's performance. With these men, you don't know. They know how to mirror a woman's values back to her. The challenge for women is learning to distinguish between a man who genuinely values them and a man who has learned how to imitate the behavior of someone who does. Performance, shapeshifters, reflecting back. You know how many dudes I've known that, let's just make an extreme case, and there's a beautiful woman who's a Christian woman. I'm not going to knock Christianity or get on that, right? But let's just take it for what it is. She's a Christian woman, and she has values. She also has a beautiful shape that you can't hide. I mean, half of the brothers in the church, when she goes up to pay her tithes, they're not bowing their head in prayer. They're looking up to see what's walking up there. Okay? So you have this guy who understands that she has these values. No sex before marriage. Everything on the up and up. No funny business. And everything is about moving toward a close relationship, marriage, and you must also have a personal relationship with God. And usually they require you to also be a Christian. Now that's a whole different topic. Let's just roll with it as it is. I've seen dudes leave out of the club. And let me say it this way for shock effect. They were in the club the night before, dancing, drinking, smoking. Excuse me, but I'm going to say it this way. They were in the club to get some hot ass. No matter where it came from. They didn't care if the woman was short, tall, fat, heavy, skinny. They wanted some cat. Not to degrade the beautiful heavenly portal of life righteously that you have. Right? I see it that way because we all came through a woman. It's a very, very serious thing. But again, I had my years of having fun on that lower vibrational level. But I couldn't hide from it. You know what I mean? You know, you talk well, you're well built, you keep yourself in shape, whatever. It's like, wait a second. You know, I didn't chase anything down. But that man who was at the club the night before, he sees this woman and he approaches her. He sees her coming out of church. He spots her in the supermarket. He knows what she's all about. Matter of fact, he was in the checkout line behind her when she was on the phone praying for another church sister who was going through a personal calamity. So he knows. So he approaches her. He sees her. Praise the Lord, sister. How are you? I've seen you multiple times in the area. And I just want to say how I really am taken aback and intrigued by the way you carry yourself. Really and truly, it's impressive. I don't know who you are, but I would really like to talk with you, just on a light level. Because from what I can see, you're a very rare specimen of a lady. And we don't have too many of these today. Oh, by the way, you know, my name is Lance. I'm using my name, right? Oh, really? Your name, Brenda? Okay. I know somebody, I went to school with somebody named Brenda. There's a lady that lives on the block. Well, you stand out above all of them. And I'd like to give you my number. If you don't want to call, that's fine. But I really think that it'd be nice if we can talk and eventually maybe we can, you know, go to a restaurant or whatever. It's up to you. If you are single and available, because I am. And it may not even be where he's single and available, but he's talking so upright. And of course, he's dressing the part. And she's intrigued. She knows a lot of guys in the church that might be interested in her, but you know, in the church, there's a lot of sugar in the tanks of the brothers, and some of the men are taken, and some of them are just a little lame. They're not, you know, even the church woman sometimes wants a man who's strong and assertive. You know what I mean? Like, okay, she wants a hero too. She worships God, but she wants somebody to have those attributes. And so now they talk. He's screwing around with other women, but he presents that side to her. And we know how that story goes. Eventually, she's going to find out. Hopefully, she doesn't get an STD because he's out there and he has community penis, but if he gets through to her, because, and that's another subject, the limitations of the religious lifestyle and having high morals, your body still talks to you. And when these guys mix in the righteous talk and seem to be upright and not trying you that way, it's very intriguing. They take their time and seduce you, not being one who speaks in a sexual way, but gives you everything around the sex talk or around the sexual energy. And then you start to think about it like, man, the guy's such a perfect gentleman. He never tried me. I expected him to try me, but he didn't. I wonder what he's like. You know what I mean? Not everybody, but it's there. We know how that goes. So be careful. Wanting you and valuing you is two different things. Growing up, there were a lot of young ladies that I valued. I truly valued them, and I let them know. And it wasn't sweet talk because they were different. I knew they weren't easy. And then you want somebody, you know, some guys try to act like they value you and they don't. So be careful what they say. It's about what they do. It's about your gut feeling, and it's about your energy. And be careful with all of that, because the results can be disastrous. Not always, but it's always good to take your time. Never forget that. Some people create emotional connection before they create real trust. One of the oldest forms of manipulation is creating emotional attachment before earning emotional trust. See the difference? You know, sometimes you have to say things and emphasize them so we can really see them. This tactic works because human beings often make decisions based on feelings long before they have gathered enough evidence about someone's character. And don't say it doesn't happen to you. It doesn't mean that it happened to you with a man. It could happen to you at the car dealership. You go in for that economy vehicle that will get you from point A to point B, and but by the time you're leaving out of there, you're buying the top of the line vehicle. You know you can't afford it. I'm not saying you personally. I'm just saying that now the emotions took over and it changed your mind about a lot of things. And men can make you like this, right? Even before you know their character. See, so some individuals know exactly how to create emotional intensity. They know how to ask personal questions. They know how to create late night conversations that moisten you a bit. They know how to discuss childhood wounds. You say, man, this guy's deep. They know how to discuss the fears, the dreams, the insecurities, and appear to be so understanding. They know how to make someone feel seen, like, wow, you really get me. See, that phone is a dangerous damn thing. The illusion that a deep wound was formed, or a deep bond, rather, I'm thinking about the trauma, but the illusion of a deep bond was formed in a very short period of time. And they will talk about it. Oh God, listen, sister, I don't know. We've only been talking for 3 weeks, but there's just something about you that it's just, I trust you. See, and they're saying these things to make you think the same thing about them. I trust you. I feel close to you. I feel like I can come to you with anything. And I feel like we've been courting for years. And, you know, I feel like we're almost going to be engaged or something. I don't know. It's crazy. It's not like this. It's never been like this with me and any other woman. And now you might echo his thoughts based on his false performance, right? Because he got you emotional and you believe it's real trust. No. The danger is that emotional intensity can feel almost identical to genuine intimacy. We're human. It can happen. It can happen to you. Maybe it did. A woman may feel closer to someone after 2 weeks than she felt with another person after 6 months. But feelings, your feelings are not evidence. Emotional closeness is not proof of character. That's something in your head. You've been manipulated. Shared vulnerability is not proof of integrity. When you confess your wounds, when you confess your trauma, and he does too, and now you feel this camaraderie with him, this closeness with him. And it's something he never been through, but he's playing you. See, some manipulative people intentionally accelerate emotional attachment because they understand that attached people stop asking hard questions. Isn't this something? When you look back, some people who felt close to somebody because of that emotional attachment, and somebody comes along, well, how long have you known them? Oh, I know them for a month and a half. And you have them driving your car already? Or you gave them keys to your apartment already? What are you, crazy? And it kind of snaps you out unless you're so caught up that you get mad at this person who's really looking out for you. And attached people overlook inconsistencies. Attached people rationalize red flags and negotiate with them. Attached people defend behavior they would normally reject because it feels so good. It feels so good. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Never allow strong feelings to outrun good judgment. Can I say that again? Never allow strong feelings to outrun good judgment. Real trust is earned slowly through consistency, accountability, and time. Anyone can create feelings. Not everyone can demonstrate character. And in an innocent way, the creation of feelings. You're walking down the street, there's a bunch of kids playing. One falls down and scrapes in their real bed and starts crying. That's real. That wasn't manipulation. So you now, looking for an adult that may not be around, you run to get a bandage and something to clean out that wound and to cover it up. Kudos to you. But not some joker who manipulated you to get into your life, to have access not only to your cookies, but to your resources. Unbelievable. I got stories for that. I can tell you. I'll tell it before the end of this is over. Like I said, we're going to do a deep dive. How some people use words as a substitute for action. One of the greatest weapons in the hands of a manipulative person is not money, power, or status. It's language. Some people understand that words can create an emotional reality that does not actually exist, gassing you up. They know how to paint pictures of a future they have no intention of building. I briefly mentioned it earlier, but it comes around to it now. They know how to speak about loyalty while living dishonest. They know how to discuss commitment while avoiding responsibility. The darker side of human nature is that some individuals become experts at studying what people want to hear. They listen carefully to your dreams, your fears, your insecurities, and your desires. Then they feed those exact hopes back to you in the form of promises. Ain't that something? They are not necessarily revealing themselves. They're presenting a customized version of themselves designed specifically for you, the perfect key to the lock that you have been. That was successful in keeping the shysters away, but this person lifted your prints. Like when you lift fingerprints in a crime scene, he emulated you, he mirrored you. Many women have been deceived, not because they're foolish, but because they believed words that sounded sincere. You know what happens when the 14 or 15-year-old girl comes home. Mommy, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant, mommy. I'm not making fun. And what does she say next? But he told me he loved me. I believed him when he said he loved me, and I gave in to him. I've experienced hearing young ladies say that of those ages. I've experienced older women who should know better. See, but the problem is that sincerity cannot be measured by how emotional a statement sounds. This is where they get you. Sincerity is measured by whether actions consistently support those words over time. How many women you know have taken in a man to live with them? Of course, they didn't follow the whole dating, courting, engagement, marriage thing. They just thought they could jump the line. And all of a sudden, he lost his job. And he's home playing some kind of video game, and you're out at work, and he's chilling. And he told you that every time he gets paid, the check is yours because you're building a future together. And all he wanted to do is find a woman to lay up on. You work hard all day, you come back, he's looking for you to cook something. Then he's looking for some loving, and you're tired and you're pissed off because he's contributing nothing at all. And you done got yourself in a situation. You see? A manipulative person often wants credit for promises rather than accountability for results. They want the emotional reward that comes from saying the right thing without having to live up to it. Think back. Do you know somebody like this? This is why actions must always outweigh words. Forget the words. Remember them. Let's see if the actions can follow through. A person can lie with their mouth, but over time, their behavior tells the truth. What if you went to a job? Excuse me. What if you went to a job, filled out the application, and they hired you? And you're supposed to get paid every 2 weeks. And the second week comes and that paycheck didn't hit your direct deposit. So you call up the job, like, what's up? It'll be there. You start your work week again, money's running low. You just started the job, so you're a little in need. See, a person can say anything, and you can follow through with your end of it when they had no intentions of following through. People use words as a substitute for action. A person's response to your boundaries reveals their true character. I don't know what it is. I'm not coughing. I think it's this almond milk that I've been drinking, right? Oh, it's good. I'm gonna take a few sips in a second. My throat's getting dry. Few things expose a person's true nature faster than the boundary. Anyone can appear kind when they're getting what they want. Anyone can appear patient when life is moving in their favor. But the real test comes when they encounter resistance, limits, or disappointment. When a woman says she wants to slow down, wait, or establish boundaries, a healthy person might not always like hearing it, but they will respect it. A manipulative person often reacts differently. They may become cold. They may withdraw attention. They may guilt trip you. They may accuse her of not caring enough. They may attempt to make her feel responsible for their frustration. This is where manipulation becomes dangerous because it often disguises itself as emotion. A manipulator wants the woman to believe that his pressure is proof of love. In reality, pressure often reveals entitlement rather than affection. He's not upset because he loves her deeply. He is upset because something he expected is not happening on his timetable. Man, I told her I was going to get them cookies next week, man, but she talking about 6 more months? She talking about a year? She can say that. Those are her cookies. Do you value her? Do you enjoy her without the thought of sexual things happening? See, women should pay close attention to how people react when told no. The word no acts like a spotlight. It reveals whether someone values your autonomy or merely tolerates it when it benefits them. A person who respects you will respect your boundaries, even when those boundaries inconvenience them. See, most real men have control. Most real intentions will also value you, and they know the value of you, and they know you are worth the wait, and it should not be about the cookies anyway. It's there. You go to a 5-star restaurant or any restaurant, you're not trying to look to eat the dessert before you eat the meal. That alone should tell you what these men are all about. The meal of you can be enjoyed by valuing you, the succulent taste of your high moral character, your work ethic, your level of intelligence, your high level of integrity. Oh, that's so sweet. And let me just tell you something on a real man level. You probably didn't hear this anywhere else. I'm going to tell you something. I told you we're going to deep dive. Let me tell you something. Okay, I have to say this in a decent way. It's kind of lewd, but it makes sense. Oral sex. What man you know doesn't love oral sex? But some men, it don't matter who does it. You could be the $5 crackhead down the block. You could be a decent woman, young lady, who you both are indulging in certain things. They don't care. They'll smear dog food on their penis and have the dog lick it off and get an orgasm that way. Some men. Let me tell you something. A real man who values a real woman does not want oral sex from a crackhead. Because, like I'm telling you now, real head ain't good, or any head is not good head if you have nothing in your head. The $5 crackhead will do anybody, do all kind of things. But that woman who has integrity, value, the uprightness and righteousness, the reflection that would make the Creator proud, when she gives it to you, it's not because of the warm sensation that her lips create. You are celebrating and feeling good because of it, her integrity, her faithfulness, her uprightness, and that's what makes it good. That this woman values you so much that she wants to please you. Now, it's not that everybody wants to do that. Let's just get that straight. You lost me there, Scaring, because I don't like doing that. Okay, well, that's your own personal thing. But when she sees the value in you, then you enjoy the value of her. That is so enjoyable, whatever it is you do, because you're not just celebrating physical sensation, you're celebrating the characteristics that this person possesses on a high level, and it's a higher feeling. It's not about, I know what to do, and the technique, I know what to do. The crackhead says, no, it's not about that, because you got nothing going on in your head. You got nothing going on in your life. You lay down with anybody. You just, all your community, whatever. Your community cookies. There's no feeling with you. There's no connection with you. Now, hopefully you get over your addiction, okay? But it's a whole different thing. Understand that. You love the person, they're submitting to you, you submit to them. Now, the other areas of lovemaking, but I had to pick that one because that's something that differentiates the two different types. You gave that to me, sister, and I value you. And it felt so good. Yes, the physical felt so good, but just knowing what kind of person you are, how rare of an individual you are, that just took me, it means something. To a righteous man, if you a dog, you'll take it from anybody, you'll take it from her and lie. They'll say the same words, they get it again. So ladies, know who you're giving your head to, okay? And again, if you're not about anything, pretty much you've cheapened yourself to be another notch on the belt. So keep the penis out your mouth until you know you got commitment for real. Wait until you're married. And people have done things before, because I know I've, not with no penis now, I'm just saying, with women, in this world, we do things before we really come into our senses. So don't fault yourself for anything that you've done in the past. The minute you realize certain things, it could have been where you were out there and some men say, oh, I had her, whatever. Yeah, but when you get to a certain level within yourself and self-love and self-appreciation, your cookies become new because they're not available to everybody now. You might have gotten over. You go in the supermarket and a bag of cookies, a box of cookies is ripped open. Somebody stole some and other people keep taking from it. But yeah, now the bag ain't ripped. You see what I mean? We all have to sometimes learn lessons the hard way. Patience can be real or it can be strategy. Let's talk about that. One of the most misunderstood realities in dating is that patience alone is not proof of good intentions. Many people have been taught that if a man is willing to wait, he must be serious. Unfortunately, many manipulative individuals understand this belief and use it to their advantage. The darker truth is that some people view patience as an investment strategy. They're willing to wait because they believe the reward will eventually justify the time spent. They may appear respectful. They may appear understanding. They may never openly pressure. Yet beneath the surface, their motivations remain unchanged. Some manipulative individuals know that rushing creates suspicion. Therefore, they slow everything down. They understand that trust grows with time. They understand that people lower their guard when they see consistency. How they say it now? The devil is a liar. They understand that patience itself can become a disguise. This does not mean that everyone who waits has bad intentions. No. It means that patience should never be the only evidence used to judge character, okay? True character is revealed through honesty, integrity, and consistency across all areas of life. Time reveals many things, but only if people are paying attention. And this is the thing, like I said it before, a big strategy that a lot of men use when they're trying to get at you and they tell you that they're going to wait for you. See, they might want you for your resources. They might want you for your future because you're going to get paid in the future in the career you're pursuing. You're known as a person who's at the top and pretty much the person who's going to be very successful, whatever it may be. They may know that you have a family that has multiple millions of dollars. I'm just throwing out certain scenarios, and that you're the only child. and they're both getting up in age and kind of ailing. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I get with her. I'm going to get that money too if I'm with and she's with me. So they're going to invest in you and make it seem as though they're waiting for you at whatever stage you're in, courting, engagement, whatever. And you say, wow, they're waiting for me. In the back of your mind, that needs to be rewarded because you think about all the other situations you've been in where men have rushed and pushed, or you found out that they were rushing and pushing. And this one here is a good man. But guess what? He's got 3 other women. I mean, this guy is like a person in the service with a machine gun shooting off at everybody. Say hello to my little friend. This guy's nutsack is empty. So he can wait because he's satisfied on a lower level with the other women while he waits for you. He's getting it. He's getting it. All kind of cookies he's getting. He ain't waiting for you. No, he's not. He's investing in you. But you're not paying attention, especially with his time. You see what I mean? That's really where it's at. Men must understand that honesty is real strength. One of the biggest problems in modern dating is that many people are more concerned with getting what they want than being truthful about what they want. This is going to lead up to a saying that I always said to women for many, many years, but some men know exactly what their intentions are from the beginning. Yet they hide those intentions because they fear honesty will reduce their chances of success. The result is that women end up investing emotionally in a future that never actually existed. They were responding to a story rather than reality. They were making decisions based on promises that the other person never genuinely intended to keep. True strength is not the ability to persuade someone into giving you what you want. True strength is having the courage to tell the truth, even when that truth may cost you an opportunity. Honesty allows another person to make an informed decision. Manipulation steals that opportunity away. A man who knows he wants something casual should damn say so. A man who knows he's not ready for commitment should say so. The moment someone begins creating false expectations to gain access to another person's trust, they have crossed the line from attraction into deception. And this goes by what I've always said. And I want you to bear with me to understand what I mean. I've said this for many years. I've told women, and it's really like going back to the days when I used to drive the dollar van in Queens, New York, the Q9 route going from Sutphin Boulevard down the Rockaway Boulevard and Lincoln Street. Back in the 90s, Sir Lance, if you remember that, back in that time, that's me, okay? My God, I remember him. I drove not just thousands in those 3 or 4 years I did it, not just tens of thousands. I would say I've been hundreds of thousands, meaning that not even just on the van, picking up and dropping off and people you get to know, but you're standing there in line with the other vans and you're talking to people as you wait. And there was no internet as it is now. There was, but it wasn't like it is now. So it was a real live internet. So you can see that I'm used to talking to lots of people. I'm not shy about that. I'm not shy about expressing myself, right? But in the discussions on the van sometime, some folks are going to the club if it was night, or they're going out, or they're coming from work, or in the morning time they're going to work, or they had a bad weekend, it's a Monday morning, all types of scenarios. Lance, let me tell you what happened. Blah, 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 blah. And when they're talking to me, other people might jump in the conversation. So in my talks about relationships, I remember one woman was saying, this guy's a dirty dog. He done lied to me and told me all this stuff, gassed my mind up. And guess what? All he wanted, she didn't say this word, but all he wanted was the cookies. And I told her, this is what I told her. And in the beginning of that trip up to Sutphen Boulevard to go to the subway that morning, other people were listening. I said, you know what? If he told you straight up that that's what he wanted, in a respectful way, he wanted a casual relationship and wanted to know if you were interested in that. And if you weren't, you might have felt insulted. How dare you tell me you just want to come around and, have sex with me on a casual level? I'm not that kind of woman. But you know what? You should have shook his hand and said, I thank you for your honesty. I'm not interested in that. But I thank you for not lying to me. I thank you for not telling me you are emotionally interested in me, that you're attracted to me on a deeper spiritual level and you respect me. But no, you want that backside. You want that cookie. You want that ass. Excuse my French. Men like that can be quite crude, but they're not playing the deception role to get to you and just they're gone and ghosting you after they got their pleasure a couple times. See what I mean? I'm not saying run every man down who's a dirty dog and shake their hand. But if somebody talks to you intelligently, respectfully, and lays it out like, this is what I'm about, you're better off because you didn't waste your time. Because you damn sure don't love that man who left you after he left a little bit of protein at your apartment or wherever you were, if you know what I mean. No. That man who is up front and honest could be your best friend down the line. I don't mean just best friend. You might not pursue him, but you know that he is based in speaking in an honest fashion. And the funny part about it is a lot of those men who speak that way, again, they're speaking to you respectfully, but they bring it to a head quick. I don't mean in 5 minutes, but they're not going to waste your time. You might be interested in him, but he lets you know that it can only go but so far. Respect that because it's not wasting your time. And with a lot of men who think like that or who want that, there's a lot of ladies out here who want that too. True. Trust and believe. I know that through my experiences. They're not going to broadcast it and tell their family or their girlfriends or the neighborhood. But I've known women who were really focused on their career. They did not want any emotional connection. They wanted a friendship where they can have someone come over. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm not saying that's the favorable thing or whatever, but there's some women who are like that. They're focused on what they have to do for themselves, but they do know that they have physical needs. And they don't want somebody falling in love with them. They don't want somebody who's going to get attached to them, although when you're having sex, you're going to start to have feelings. But you got to control that. A lot of men can't handle that either. A lot of men can't handle that. They start falling in love. you know, I got to have these cookies in my life for the rest of my life. Very complex. I told you I was going to do a deep dive. And maybe some of these women could be living in a very imbalanced way, that when they get to the point in their career where they feel they've achieved something, now they're looking for a real relationship and maybe they can't find it. That's another topic. Again, please suggest to me topics that you want to speak about, because I love speaking about life in the realistic aspects of human nature, not what it should be. It could be what it should be, but we have to know where not to step. I used to have a couple of dogs in my lifetime, pet dogs. Not like 10 at a time or 2 at a time, but 1 at a time. And a cat, whatever. The dog would usually stay in the dog house in the back. And he would come out in the yard and he would do what he had to do to clear his gut. If you go out there and you don't know where he did what he did, you would step in it. So by putting on the floodlight to light up the backyard when I had to go out there at night, it showed me where I shouldn't be stepping. So these conversations are showing us what the deal is. And we need more of these with our youngsters, especially our young ladies and our young men. A lot of us as grown folks, we too caught up in our own mess. Too caught up as grown folks in our own adolescent mess because we didn't learn. We didn't have it passed down to us. So that's what this is about. And the funny part is, it's not just adolescents that need to hear this, right? Sometimes we don't get to a certain point in life of wisdom until after we're retired, until we're over 50 years old. There's a lot of people who are in their 40s and 50s who act like fools, like they don't know the deal. Like they blew a fuse in their mind. And so I don't know, but that's what it is. Women should not ignore their inner warning system, your gut, your gift of discernment, your intuition. One of the most powerful and painful truths is that many people see warning signs long before the relationship falls apart. The problem is not always a lack of awareness. The problem is often a lack of willingness to trust what they already know. You see it, but you choose to not see it. See, there are moments when something feels off. A story does not quite make sense. A behavior seems inconsistent. A promise feels rehearsed. A person's actions do not align with their words. Yet many people talk themselves out of their own instincts because they want the relationship or situationship to work. Manipulative individuals often rely on this tendency. They know that hope can be stronger than evidence. They know that people often give endless second chances to someone they are emotionally attached to. They know that emotions can silence common sense. Has that ever been you? Your intuition is not always perfect, but it exists for a reason. When multiple warning signs continue to appear, they should not be ignored simply because someone is charming, attractive, successful, or persuasive. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is believing what repeated behavior is showing you. But we ignore it because it appears to be the person of our dreams. And we've been shafted so many times before, and we see that the appearance and the words and the feeling, y'all, the feeling doesn't mean that it's real, but it feels good and it feels right. And so we believe the illusion. We don't care if it's real in our subconscious mind. We've been burnt so many times. Let me just believe the lie. And the red flags are screaming at you. One of the biggest things, and I've said this before on another show, former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. You know, he was traveling the world. He was one of the most famous people on the planet. He was knocking everybody out. He's famous. He's fearsome. He had a wild and crazy life that filled the tabloids up and made him help the tabloids to make a lot of money. And in his ignorance or lack of wisdom in certain areas of his life, he understood this. For him to say this, he understood it. Well, what did he say, Lance? Let me tell you what he said. And if you've been on the show for a while, you know what it is, but I'm going to say it again. He was in the bedroom with 5 young ladies. Now, they weren't talking about politics. They were all in the bed. Okay. You know what it was. That was Mike Tyson. And he told one of them, lie to me and tell me that you love me. I never forgot that. Oh my God. He realized it. He realized that these women weren't there for him, but because he was spending massive amounts of money and expensive hotel suites that they could never get in. And maybe, just maybe, they might get pregnant from this multi-millionaire, hundreds of thousands of dollars, before they go back to their nondescript life. They're using their bodies to get what they want. And he told them, lie to me and tell me that you love me. In other words, I know you don't love me, but give me the illusion. I'll enjoy the illusion because I know that it's nothing real in this room. You're sharing your orifices with me. We're ingesting each other's crotch sauce. You're doing things that you've never did with any other man before because I have so much money and fame and status. You're not real. Devil, tell me you can give me salvation. I'm not calling women devils. I'm just being very dramatic right now. You damn demon, tell me you love me. I know what you're here for. Just lie to me and tell me that you love me. Let me just hear it. Because I know what it really is. That was profound. He was paying them. He was giving them money. He's throwing around money like crazy. Just like the confetti that's dropped in the city that had the winning baseball team when they have the parade, or the basketball team, or the football team. We got to get some of this money. We don't care about him. We're going to give him the illusion of pleasure. They're all doing what they do. Those girls weren't friends. They're on a mission. Let's give them a fantasy. Do this, do that. They'll do it. Now, see, I was never rich or famous like that, and I have lived. I have lived for years in certain levels. And I know what it's all about. I don't know what it is those young ladies thought they can get from me because I didn't have Mike Tyson money, but oh well. Sometimes it's your light. But understand, the representative is not always the real person. Many people fall in love with the representative rather than the actual person. In the beginning, everyone presents their best self. Come on now, you know that. You do it, I do it, we all do. Doesn't mean we're going to try to be deceptive and lie and hurt somebody. You go to the job interview, what you going to do? You going to go wearing a bonnet and slippers and pajamas? No. And forget to brush your teeth? Morning breath at the interview? No, you're not getting that job. You get a first class ticket to the mental ward. You see what I mean? But usually we dress better, speak more carefully, hide the flaws, and highlight our strengths. This is normal human behavior to a degree. The problem begins when the representative becomes a deliberate mask. Some individuals carefully construct an image designed to attract trust. They know exactly which qualities people admire and intentionally display those qualities while hiding everything else. A manipulative person may appear generous, patient, thoughtful, spiritual, successful, or family-oriented. They understand that these characteristics lure suspicion. What matters is not the image itself, but whether the image remains consistent under pressure. The real person appears when life becomes difficult. The real person appears when boundaries are enforced. The real person appears when they're disappointed, challenged, corrected, or denied something they want. Anyone can wear a mask during good times. Character is revealed when the mask becomes difficult to maintain, when that representative is not there anymore. The circumstances pull the mask off and you see it for what it is. So when you're meeting somebody for the first time at that social networking event, or you're introduced to somebody through somebody you half know, don't listen, like they say, don't believe the hype. Doesn't mean that they're not real. It could be the real person. That's beautiful. Because most people are not going to speak on their flaws or their shortcomings, or everything is going to be done nice, like that used car on a used car lot. Engine is bad, but the body is waxed and clean, and the tires are armor-all, nice rims, eye-catching. You can just see yourself rolling in that vehicle. And when you come to see the vehicle, they will tell you, call me at least 15 minutes before you get here. Settle down and hum like a new engine. And why is it that when you're getting a used vehicle, they always want to tell you how good the sound system is? Damn it, I don't need to worry about that. And we get seduced into that. Trying to show you the benefit of a sound system you can get for pennies on a dollar. I don't want to be, look, you want to be stuck on the side of the road with a nice sound system? Can't go anywhere? You way out in the countryside, up in the mountains somewhere. Next exit is 15 miles and it's dark and all kind of animals around. But you got a nice sound system and your energy seized up. The mask is falling off. Love should never require you to ignore your own value. Perhaps the darkest trap of all is when someone becomes so emotionally invested that they begin abandoning their own standards in order to keep another person's attention. That's what happens when you put other people ahead of you, or you're scared of loneliness. This is where manipulation becomes most effective, because the victim begins participating in their own mistreatment. And you feel it, but you keep going along with it. A manipulative person often benefits when a woman starts doubting herself. He's going to benefit from that. The less confidence she has in her instincts, the easier she becomes to influence. The more she questions her own judgment, the more she depends on the manipulator's version of reality. This can happen gradually. It's like when you have a thread in your dress that you keep pulling, the dress begins to unravel. A woman may overlook one red flag, then another, then another. She may excuse behavior she once considered unacceptable. That's when you know you're sliding down the slippery slope of delusion. She may begin sacrificing pieces of her dignity because she believes the relationship will eventually improve. And it ain't going nowhere, but she believes it may improve. Real love should strengthen your sense of worth, not weaken it. You see? Any relationship that demands you abandon your standards, silence your instincts, or ignore your value in order to keep someone's attention is not built on love. It's built on imbalance. And imbalance is where manipulation thrives. Imbalance, dysfunction, low self-esteem, all of these things are tied in together. And they will stay rooted in you as long as you keep yourself down and never put yourself first and never practice self-love. Oh, they don't want you to do that. The minute you put your foot down, and they're going to try you too. You try to put your foot down and reclaim certain standards. They don't want that. They're going to smack you back down. I don't mean physically, and hopefully not. And they'll do that too. But they want you to be in that place, to ignore your own value. How sad is that? It all starts with you knowing yourself, knowing what you want in this life, having standards that you don't compromise these standards, no matter what, no matter how good the man looks. I don't mean just physically, but the words that come out of his mouth. He may be a spin master. Well, whatever he is, if you're rock solid concrete in who you are, it forces anybody to value you. And if a man wants to approach you in a cheap sense, where he's going to get the cookies and not value you, and you hold on to the value and your integrity, he's not going to hang around too long. Because there are a lot of women out here giving away their cookies easily. And there are reasons for that. And I'm not going to knock a lot of those women who do, because of the reduced self-esteem they may have. Let me be raw with you now. We talk about the reduced low self-esteem. Why am I talking about blowjobs tonight? I have to talk about this one. An old man told me one time, and really it was in a barbershop. They were doing man talk. And when he said it, he looked my way like he's telling me something. He said, man, best blowjob you'll ever have is from a low self-esteem woman. Because she got something to prove to you, man. She don't think much of herself, and she gonna do that to blow your mind because she know that's all about what she can do to blow your mind. But if that woman has some self-esteem and value, yeah, you know, she can hit you off if she's valued because you'd value her. But if you don't value women in general and you go for the lowest hanging fruit, you go on and find that low self-esteem woman who don't want much. Like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I had to wrap my head around that. No, it's not always true. But he had a point. And it's not about a blowjob. It could be that woman who doesn't value herself and takes more than she should. You see what I mean? They abandon their own values that they should have. So you might put your hands on it and she'll take it. Because of her trauma, she didn't think much of herself anyway. Doesn't mean that traumatized people don't have any self-esteem, but they went through a whole lot. And they might be more liable to take punishment on certain levels because they may not have healed all the way yet. And see, some of these traumatized women, when they finally heal, when they finally wake up, oh my God, strong, healed. It's like when you catch a scar and the strongest skin is right there where that scar is. Even though in boxing, when you get hit where you had a cut, it opens up. But you see that scar. And it may look ugly on the skin, but that's proof positive that you've been through the battles, that you've been through the wars, And like I told a young lady many years ago that I had a connection with, don't ask, don't even ask me about it. I had a connection with her, and we were reclined in her bedroom, and she was always covering up her stomach. And I've spoken about this before. And I said, why are you always covering your stomach when everything else is in plain view? And I knew why, but I was playing dumb. She says, oh, Lance, I have these ugly stretch marks on my stomach, and I didn't want you to see them. And I told her, sister, see those stretch marks you have there? You should be proud that you were able to bring life in this world. Those should be badges of honor. I'm not saying walk around with your stomach hanging out, but don't be ashamed of that. The process of giving birth, you might bring a child into the world that, again, like I've said, might be the cure for HIV or the cure for cancer or diabetes, or invent something that is so profound. It came through your womb. That's a badge of honor. There's no jewelry that you can wear around your neck or in your ear or around your waist that's better than those stretch marks. You went through labor. You went through a lot of pain. You went through a lot of morning sickness to partake in something so divine. And she was a righteous individual. She just liked me a whole lot. And there are women who, they're animalistic in their dealings and they don't understand the sanctity of womanhood, so they don't understand what that is. And that's another topic. Women that don't understand their position in this universe and in creation. That portal that you have that's so powerful that none of us could have come here without you bringing us here. The man can't do it. And I don't understand why these days they're trying to make it where a man can get pregnant and bring life, because it ain't going to happen. And if for some reason you implant something in a man and manipulate the hormones and change the genitalia and do all of that stuff, that creation ain't going to have no soul. I'm going to say it the Ebonic way. That creation ain't going to have no soul. There's so much that we have to learn in this lifetime. I'm getting kind of hungry. I might just wrap this down, but we'll be back tomorrow. Like I promised yesterday that we'll be back today. But there's so much that we have to absorb, digest, internalize, and understand in this lifetime. We don't have any time for foolishness. And now that I'm at this chronological age of 63 years, I cannot believe it. I can't believe I'm saying I'm 63 years old. Oh, man. When I was younger, that was old. But I feel young. And I feel revived. And I'm looking forward to the new day to learn something more. Like a car driving down the street on a highway that has momentum. You just have to keep your foot touching the gas pedal a little bit and you maintain that 75 miles an hour on the highway, but don't go over the speed limit, y'all. And you're flowing. You're driving through city and other cities, and you're getting where you have to go out of state. Swift, music's playing, and you're in a zone. Well, that's where I am right now, except I'm not in a vehicle. So many revelations of human nature is coming to me, and I love it. It's flooding me right now, more so than ever before. And I thank my Creator for that. And I don't know everything, but if I can give you an analogy or a comparison or just a little tidbit of what I see, and you share with me in the world the little bit that you see every day. What a beautiful world it will be. What a glorious time to be free. Ain't there something? And it's all in our interaction, not just with other people, but it's our interaction with ourselves. The inner verse, it's all there. You conquer yourself, you conquer the world. And I don't mean in some type of domineering way, but you want to rule everything. You conquer yourself, life will become easier and easier to navigate because you will already know through your gift of discernment and the conquering of yourself how to navigate around and not get hit by certain things because you can see it for what it really is. It's a beautiful thing, and I want more of it. And if I can lay down tonight and have a dream or have a thought before I go to bed or a download when I wake up, oh man, it's a beautiful thing and I love it. I love life. Life is good. Even when you catch a scar or a bruise or a cut, you're a little kid out in the park enjoying yourself with your friends, throwing a ball around, laughing, talking, and you bruise your knee and it hurts. It's like a little blood came out. But when you lay down at night and think about, man, we had fun today now, didn't we? Even though you had that bruise on you that temporarily made you feel pain. That's life. There'll be a lot of bruises. There'll be a lot of cuts. But you have to be able with growth to see the beauty of life and how sweet it can be. Because hopefully, if you learned what you are today, you are better than what you were yesterday. You're better than what you were last year. You're better than what you were 10 years ago. Now, if you're 9 years old, you're like, well, Lance, I wasn't born yet, but you wouldn't even understand what I'm saying to even question that. Your body may not be the same as you get older. It's not the same as when you were 18 years old. But when you get to a certain point in life with your chronological age and the mentality, the spirituality, the emotions that you control and that you understand, it'd be nice to be able to run a couple miles or, do something physical more. You can keep yourself up good in older age, but those other attributes that you have, you wouldn't trade any of those for anything in the whole wide world. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. So I just once again want to say how much I thank you for being here with me. I know I rambled. I know I ranted. I know I said some kind of adult things, and maybe you don't understand me sometimes. And if you don't, ask me and I'll explain it a little better. I don't know everything, but the little bit of goodness that I've accrued in this lifetime, I have no problem sharing it. If it can affect those around me. Now, I'm way out in West Africa, and maybe you're listening and I'm far away from you physically. But through this medium, we shrunk the world, and those words can affect you. And a lot has affected me. And I thank my Creator for all the people that have come into my life, large and small, who have affected me and caused me to see the truth in this world. And yes, this life can be like a cloudy sky where you can't see the sun. You can't see the blue sky. But as time goes on, it clears up. And for you who are going through a storm, and I'll wrap it up after this, understand when the storm is over, it still might be drizzling. Everything outside is wet. The clouds are going away, but the clouds are still there, but you can start to see the sky lighten up a little bit. And guess what? 5 minutes later, you see the sun. An hour later, the ground dried up, meaning that whatever you're going through now, it's not going to stay the same. Think about the times when you were going through something that you thought was rough. And you say, wow, when I went through that period, things were so bad, I thought I would never get through it. But look at you now. Those challenges, when thought about, may still make you feel uncomfortable. But now, since you've been through it, you know that you can conquer it. You may not want to go through it anymore, but you know that, listen, I've been through that before. I can deal with that. But there will be bigger things sometimes that come. Just know you have the seeds of strength and greatness and the Creator behind you. If you use your accrued wisdom, you have in you what's necessary to take you over that and overcome. See, once you get out of 5th grade, you can't be scared of 6th grade work, because even though you never sat in a 6th grade classroom as a freshly graduated 5th grader, little do you know, you're already a 6th grader. You can't go back. I mean, unless you left back. But if you do the right thing, graduate to the next level, whatever is on that level, you're ready for it. You just don't know it. So you don't move with fear with anything of the so-called unknown, because what is not known will be known. You started that job. You didn't know anybody on the job. The night before, Sunday night, you're laying in the bed. Will I get along with the people there? Will I be able to do the work? Will I, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, it's a piece of cake. So take that mentality everywhere. Know that you are equipped and you're worthy to handle any challenge as long as you're right with yourself and you're cleansing yourself, healing yourself, conquering yourself. I don't worry about anything. I concern myself with stuff, but I do not worry, because I know I have it in me, even when I don't know where to find it. It's like when you have to do something with a hammer or a screwdriver. You don't freak out when you don't see it. You're like, I put this hammer down somewhere. I just got to look for it, but I know I have it here. But once you find it, there's no nail in the house that can't be driven into the wall. Remember that, if you don't remember anything else. But know those who are seeking to go higher, I love you all. Take care. Let's continue this journey. Leave your comments. I'd love to hear from you. On to the next one. LanceScurv out. Peace.